Have you ever had that feeling you're trying to work or maybe just read a book and you realize your brain feels like a web browser with, 100 tabs open? It's just chaos. Well, today, we're going to get into why that happens and, more importantly, what we can actually start doing about it.
Yeah, that's the feeling. You're trying to lock in on one single thing, but then your phone buzzes, an email alert pops up, and your own mind is just running this constant loop of to-do lists and worries. It's this non-stop low-level buzz of distraction that just leaves you feeling completely scattered.
And look, if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You are not failing. This feeling isn't some personal flaw. You're just trying to operate in a world that is literally designed to pull your attention in a million different directions at once. So no, you are absolutely not alone in this.
And just to put this into perspective, some research from 2020 found that over 1 billion people, billion with a B, spend an average of 3 hours a day scrolling through social media. 3 hours! That's basically a part-time job where the only task is to scroll. So yeah, if you feel like you're in a battle for your own focus, it's because you are. We all are.
These things aren't just random annoyances. They're all connected in this powerful cycle. It kicks off with this idea that we should be multitasking, which just makes us tired. That tiredness makes us reach for our phones, which sucks us into the dopamine loop. That whole system is built by what's called the attention economy. And the end result? Our brains are just too fried to make good decisions. So let's break this whole thing down, starting with the one we all think is a superpower.
Okay, so first up, the myth of multitasking. We've all been told it's the secret to being productive, right? But the actual science says something completely different. It says our brains, well, they just can't do it. So here's the deal. We think we're doing two things at the same time, like writing an important email while we're on a conference call. But what's really happening inside our heads is our brain is just frantically switching back and forth between those two tasks. It's not parallel processing. It's just really, really fast toggling. And all that switching comes with a hidden price.
Yeah, neuroscientists have a name for it. They call it the switch cost. And I love this analogy. Think of it as a tiny mental tax you have to pay every single time your brain jumps from one thing to another. A few of those little taxes during the day, no big deal. But when you're paying it hundreds of times, it adds up. And it's exactly why you feel so unbelievably wiped out at the end of the day. And this quote right here just nails it. Increased brain activity while multitasking doesn't mean more efficiency. It means more effort. So when your brain is multitasking, it isn't working smarter, it's just working so much harder. That feeling of being totally exhausted, even though you feel like you got nothing done, that's the switch cost. It's like your brain just ran a marathon just to stay in the exact same place. So your brain is tired. It's completely drained from all that task switching. And what do we do when we feel overwhelmed? We look for an easy out, right? We reach for our phones. And that, my friends, is when the next part of the cycle, the dopamine loop, gets its hooks in us. It all starts with a trigger. You hit a tough spot in your work, you feel a little bored, or you just feel that mental burnout we were talking about. And almost like you're on autopilot, your hand just reaches for your phone. And then comes the action, the scroll, that zombie-like hypnotic thumb swipe. You're not even looking for anything in particular. You're just drifting down this endless river of stuff, waiting for something, anything to catch your attention.
And this is where the brain science gets wild. Every time you see a funny meme, a surprising piece of news, or a cool photo, your brain gets a tiny little hit of a chemical called dopamine. It feels good. But because you never know when that next little reward is coming, it works exactly like a slot machine in Vegas. You just keep pulling the lever, or, swiping your thumb, chasing that next little buzz.
And I really need you to hear this. This is not a weakness in your willpower. It's a feature of the app's design. Features like infinite scroll and videos that just play one after another, they are not accidents. They are deliberately engineered to hijack this dopamine system. We live in an attention economy where your focus is the product being sold, and these apps are designed to harvest as much of it as possible.
Okay, I know. Hearing all that can feel pretty intense. It sounds like an impossible battle. But the good news is, breaking this cycle doesn't mean you have to throw your phone in a river and move to a cabin in the woods. It can start with one really simple 2-minute habit at the end of your workday.
So this idea comes from an author named Cal Newport. He calls it a shutdown ritual. And it is so simple. At the end of your day, take 2 minutes. First, just glance over what you did. Second, jot down a quick, messy plan for what needs to happen tomorrow. And third, and this is the most important part, physically close your computer and say the words "shutdown complete" out loud.
Now I know, it might sound a little cheesy to say it out loud, but here's why it's so powerful.
That physical action and those words, they create a clear boundary. It's a signal to that too many tabs open part of your brain that says, hey, we're done. Everything is captured, you have permission to power down for the night. It gives your brain the official green light to stop worrying and actually start resting.
So really, the goal here isn't to somehow fix your broken brain, because it's not broken. The goal is simply to give it a break. This is about taking pressure off, not adding more on. It's about giving yourself permission to log off, to close those mental tabs, and to let your mind truly rest. You can start today. What if you just tried giving yourself that permission tonight?